Alex always liked a challenge. To him, life was a series of dares, each one more exciting than the last. He was known among his friends for being fearless, bold, and sometimes a little reckless. Tonight, he sat in his small apartment overlooking the glowing city, surrounded by his three closest friends, Maya, Jamal, and Leo. The air buzzed with laughter and the clink of glasses, but Alex's mind was already racing with an idea that made him smirk. "You know," Alex began, leaning back in his chair, "I bet I could date Celine." Maya froze mid-sip. "Celine? You mean the vampire?" she asked, her voice rising. "Yes," Alex said, grinning. "The one no one has ever gotten close to. The one everyone says is untouchable." Leo snorted. "Untouchable? That's exactly why you'll fail," Alex shrugged. "Or exactly why I'll win. Come on, think about it. No one has ever dared to approach her, and I'm not afraid. I bet I can get her to agree to a date." "Alex," Jamal said slowly, leaning forward. "This isn't a normal date. You're talking about a vampire. They're different, dangerous." Alex laughed, waving a hand dismissively. "Different is exciting. Dangerous is thrilling. And besides, it's just a bet. If I can't win her heart, I'll accept defeat. But if I do, well, then I win, and everyone sees what humans are capable of." Maya rolled her eyes. "This is crazy. You do realize she's not just any vampire. She's Selena. She's centuries old, brilliant, and smart. She doesn't fall for foolish humans." Alex leaned in, eyes sparkling. "Exactly. That's why it's a challenge." The room fell silent for a moment as his friends exchanged worried looks. Then Leo finally shook his head. "Fine, we'll make it official. If you can get Celine to say yes to a date, you win the bet. But if you fail—" He paused dramatically. "You owe us big time." Alex laughed and raised his glass. "Deal." The next evening, Alex set out into the city. The streets were alive with neon lights and the hum of hovercars. People walked briskly, many unaware that hidden among them were creatures who had lived far longer than any human. Vampires like Selene had learned to blend into human society, but they were still careful. Most preferred the shadows. Most, but not all, Alex had done his research. He knew Selene frequented a rooftop garden in the heart of the city. It was a quiet place hidden from the public eye where she often went to observe the night. The wind was cool as he climbed the narrow stairs leading to the top. His heart raced, not from fear but from excitement. When he reached the rooftop, he stopped. There she was, Selene. She stood near the edge, her dark hair flowing in the wind, eyes reflecting the city lights. She wore a long coat that moved like liquid darkness around her, and her presence was magnetic. People often said vampires were beautiful, but seeing her in person was breathtaking. Alex cleared his throat, trying to sound casual. "Hi," he said. Selene turned slowly, her eyes narrowing as they met his. "And you are?" she asked, her voice smooth, almost musical. "Alex," he said, offering a confident smile. "I've heard a lot about you." Selene tilted her head, a small smile playing at her lips. "I doubt you have," she said. "Maybe," Alex admitted. "But I've heard enough to know that you're fascinating. I wanted to ask you something." She raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued but cautious. "Oh, and what is that?" Alex took a deep breath. "I'd like to take you on a date." There was a pause. Selena's expression didn't change, but her eyes seemed to sparkle. "A human asking me out," she said softly, almost to herself. "That's bold," Alex grinned. "I like bold. And I like challenges. I heard a lot about you. Everyone says you're untouchable. I want to know if that's true." Celine's lips curved into a faint smile. "Most humans would be terrified. But you don't seem afraid." "That's unusual." "I'm not afraid," Alex said firmly. "I'm curious. I want to know what it's like to be near someone like you." She studied him carefully. After a long moment, she nodded. "Very well," she said finally. "I accept your date. But know this, human. I don't play by human rules. And if you disappoint me—" "I won't," Alex said confidently. Selene's smile widened slightly, and with a graceful movement she stepped closer. "Then let's see how interesting you really are." The first date was unlike anything Alex had ever imagined. They walked through the quiet streets, the city lights reflecting off the glass buildings. Selene spoke little of herself, instead observing Alex with piercing eyes, testing his reactions. But Alex was prepared. He was quick-witted, adaptable, and humanly clever. Traits that had served him well in countless situations. At one point, Selene stopped by a small fountain in the middle of a plaza. The water sparkled under the neon lights, and she turned to him. "You're clever, human," she said. "Most humans would have run away by now." "I'm not most humans," Alex said with a grin. She studied him for a long moment. Then, almost suddenly, she reached out and lightly touched his arm. The contact was brief, but Alex felt a strange warmth spread through him. His pulse quickened, and he realized that this was no ordinary touch. "You feel different," Celine said quietly, as if talking to herself. Alex smiled, hiding his own astonishment. "Maybe that's just me." Celine's lips curved into a mysterious smile. "Perhaps." As the night grew darker, Celine led him to the rooftop garden again. The city stretched below them, a sea of lights and life. She looked at him, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "Humans are curious creatures," she said softly. "I wonder if you understand the world you're stepping into." "I understand enough to know it's worth it," Alex replied. Her gaze lingered on him, and Alex felt a thrill he couldn't explain. She leaned closer, and he caught a faint scent of something sweet and wild. Then, with the speed and grace only a vampire could possess, she lightly bit his wrist. The bite was sharp but not painful in the way he expected. Instead, it sent a rush of warmth and energy through his body. Alex didn't flinch. He didn't even scream. He simply looked at her, surprised but exhilarated. Celine pulled back slightly, observing him. You're unusual," she said, her voice a whisper. "Most humans would have fainted." "I'm not most humans," Alex said again, laughing softly despite the strange sensation coursing through him. Celine's expression softened, almost imperceptibly. "Perhaps," she said. "Perhaps not." They stayed on the rooftop for hours, talking and laughing. Alex felt a connection he had never experienced before. There was something about Celine that was ancient, wise, and dangerous, but also something that recognized him in some way as more than just a human. By the time the first light of dawn touched the city, Alex knew one thing for certain: this was no ordinary date. And somehow he had a feeling that neither of them would ever be the same again. The city streets were quiet as Alex walked home, his wrist still tingling from Celine's bite. The night's events replayed in his mind: her smooth, confident movements, the piercing gaze, and the strange warmth that had spread through him. He felt alive in a way he had never experienced. When he reached his apartment, he paced back and forth. "What just happened?" he murmured to himself. The bite had left a faint mark, a tiny crescent-shaped bruise, yet it was more than physical. There was a strange energy flowing through him, a connection he couldn't explain. He opened his phone and texted his friends. "I survived the bite. Barely. But it was amazing." Within moments, the messages came back. "Maya, you're insane. I told you this was risky. Jamal, you better not get yourself killed. Leo, did she even like you? Or was this just a test?" Alex smiled. "Oh, it was definitely a test. But I passed." The next evening, Alex found himself standing near the same rooftop garden. He didn't know why he had returned, but something about Celine drew him in. He wasn't afraid. If anything, he was curious. He wanted to understand the strange connection forming between them. Celine appeared silently, as if she had been waiting for him. Her dark eyes glinted in the moonlight. "You returned," she said, her voice calm but amused. "I had questions," Alex admitted. "About you, about us," she tilted her head. "Questions? Humans are always so eager to know." "I just want to understand," Alex said. "The bite. It wasn't normal." "I feel different." Celine studied him closely. "It isn't normal," she said softly. "That bite wasn't meant to harm you. It was meant to connect us. To see if your heart, your courage, and your mind are strong enough to match mine." Alex's eyes widened. "Connect us? Like, what does that mean?" "It means," Celine said slowly, "that we share something now. A link, your energy, your life force. It resonates with mine. Most humans cannot handle this. Most humans would have collapsed or worse. And I didn't." Alex said, a hint of pride in his voice. "Does that mean we're bonded?" Celine smiled faintly. "Possibly. But a bond like this is not simple. It is not just about a bite. It is about trust, courage, and understanding. If you wish to continue, you must prove yourself." "Prove myself?" Alex asked. "Yes," Celine said, stepping closer. "Through trials, simple, yet challenging. You will need to show me your human ingenuity, your bravery, and your loyalty." Alex's heart raced. "I'm ready," he said. Celine's eyes flickered almost approvingly. "Very well. Our first trial begins tonight." The trial was simple in theory but complex in execution. Celine led Alex to an old part of the city, abandoned buildings surrounded by high walls and shadows. "There is a puzzle here," she explained. "It is not deadly, but it will test your mind and courage. Solve it and you move closer to understanding our bond." "Fail and the trial ends," Alex nodded. I understand. Show me what I need to do. Celine led him through a series of dark corridors, their footsteps echoing softly. Finally, they reached a large locked gate. Strange symbols were carved into the metal, glowing faintly. This is your puzzle, Celine said. You must unlock it using logic and observation. You may touch nothing else. Only the solution will open the gate. Alex examined the symbols carefully. Each one seemed to represent an element: fire, water, wind, earth. Some symbols rotated slowly, others remained still. He paused, studying the patterns. Think, human, Celine said softly. Observe carefully. Alex's mind worked quickly. He noticed that the stationary symbols corresponded to the order of the seasons, and the rotating symbols followed a different pattern. He carefully pressed the symbols in sequence, testing his theory. A soft click sounded and the gate swung open silently. Celine's eyes widened slightly. Impressive, she said. You solved it. Alex grinned. Just observation and reasoning. That's human ingenuity for you. She studied him for a moment, then nodded. You have passed the first test. But the trials will grow harder, and not all will be puzzles. Over the next few days, Alex returned to meet Celine. Each trial tested different human qualities. One required him to navigate a labyrinth filled with hidden traps. Alex used his agility and clever thinking to find the safe paths, narrowly avoiding danger. Another trial tested his courage. He had to face illusions of his deepest fears projected by Celine's mind. Heart racing, he confronted them, refusing to run even when the illusions seemed real. Through it all, Alex impressed Celine. She was centuries old, and yet his bravery, resilience, and cleverness intrigued her. Few humans had ever matched her intellect, and none had the fearlessness he displayed. One night, after a particularly challenging trial, Celine invited Alex to sit with her atop a tall building overlooking the city. You are unusual, Alex, she said quietly. Most humans would have failed by now. You possess qualities I thought were rare: courage, determination, and something else. Something that resonates with me. Alex felt a warm glow in his chest. I guess that means humans are more capable than you thought, he said with a grin. Celine smiled faintly. Perhaps. You may be the first human I have ever considered. Compatible? Alex blinked, surprised. Compatible? Yes, Celine said. A bond like ours is more than curiosity or attraction. It requires trust, bravery, and a willingness to endure challenges together. You have shown all of these. I am impressed. Then came the night that would change everything. Celine led Alex to a hidden garden filled with glowing flowers and mist that shimmered under the moonlight. She turned to him, her eyes intense. Tonight, she said, we will see if the bond can strengthen. Are you ready? Alex nodded. I'm ready. Celine approached him slowly. Her hand reached for his face, and he felt a strange calmness wash over him. Then, with the grace and precision only a vampire could possess, she bit his neck. This bite was different. It was deeper, more intense. Alex felt a surge of energy unlike anything before, a connection that seemed to pull their very beings together. His vision blurred for a moment, then sharpened. Colors were brighter, sounds clearer, and he could almost feel her thoughts brushing against his mind. He did not panic. Instead, he focused, letting the connection flow. Celine pulled back, studying him. You are extraordinary, she whispered. Most humans would have faltered. Most humans cannot handle this, but you are strong. Alex smiled, though his body tingled from the energy. I told you I'm not most humans. Celine's expression softened. Indeed, and now the bond is stronger. You may not yet understand it fully, but we are linked in ways few humans ever experience. This is the first step toward becoming eternal mates. Alex's heart raced. Eternal mates? Celine nodded. A human who can withstand a vampire's bite, who proves their courage, intelligence, and resilience, is rare. If the bond strengthens, it can last forever. You and I may share a connection that transcends time. Alex took a deep breath. I think I'm ready for whatever comes next. Celine's eyes sparkled faintly in the moonlight. Very well. But know this, Alex, bonding is not easy. It requires effort, understanding, and trust. You will face challenges both from within and outside. But if you succeed, we will be stronger together than either of us imagined. Alex nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and determination. Then let's do it. Whatever it takes. Celine smiled, and for the first time her expression seemed almost human. Very well, Alex. Let us see where this bond leads. The bond from the bite lingered through the next days. Alex felt it in small ways. He sensed Celine's moods, her emotions sometimes brushing against his thoughts. It was subtle but unmistakable. He knew that whatever trials awaited them, He and Celine were connected in a way no one else could understand. As he walked the city streets, he felt more alive than ever. Humans were limited in many ways, but they also had ingenuity, resilience, and courage that even immortals could admire. And Alex realized something important. He wasn't just proving himself to Celine. He was proving the potential of humanity itself. The city had a quiet glow that night, a soft luminescence that reflected off the glass towers and the still water of the river below. Alex walked beside Celine, feeling the strange and thrilling connection that had grown between them since her bite. He could sense her mood without her speaking, a subtle pull that made him feel both exhilarated and alert. "You feel it too, don't you?" Celine asked quietly, her dark eyes meeting his. Alex nodded.
"Yeah, I can
almost feel your thoughts, and when you're near, it's like my senses are sharper. Everything's clearer." "That is the bond growing," Celine said. "It is rare for a human to withstand the bite and to survive the link. Most would be overwhelmed or afraid. You are extraordinary." Alex smiled, though his heart thumped nervously. "I feel extraordinary, but also responsible. What does this bond mean? What happens next?" Celine studied him closely, her expression unreadable. "It means we share a connection that will grow stronger. It is not only physical, it is mental, emotional, and spiritual. You may not fully understand it yet, but in time it will guide both of us." Alex felt a thrill. "So, we're connected? Forever?" Celine tilted her head. "If the bond deepens, yes. But eternal mates do not happen overnight. It requires trust, understanding, and mutual strength. We must prove ourselves worthy not just to each other, but to the rules of my kind." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Rules?" Celine nodded. "Vampires have existed for centuries. Bonds like this are regulated. A human cannot simply claim a vampire as a mate. We must face trials, tests of courage, intelligence, loyalty, and endurance. Only when the trials are completed does the bond fully awaken." Alex clenched his fists, determination shining in his eyes. "Then I'm ready. Whatever it takes, I'll see it through." Celine's lips curved in a faint smile. "Very well. Then our next trial begins tonight." The next trial was not a puzzle or a test of agility. It was a test of loyalty. Celine led Alex to an old abandoned building, its walls covered in ivy and shadows. Inside, she explained the challenge. "Humans are clever, but they are vulnerable. Your loyalty will be tested against temptation, fear, and danger. You must remain true, not just to me, but to the bond we share. Only then can it grow stronger." Alex nodded, ready for whatever came next. The building was dimly lit, filled with strange artifacts, mirrors, and illusions. The air felt heavy, charged with energy. Celine's eyes glinted as she stepped back. "Do not be afraid. Trust yourself." As Alex moved deeper into the building, the illusions began. Shadows stretched and shifted into figures he recognized, friends, enemies, even versions of himself. They whispered doubts, fears, and temptations into his mind. "Alex, leave this place," one voice said. "You are not ready. You could fail," another warned. "This is beyond you." Alex paused, taking a deep breath. "No," he said firmly. "I'm not leaving. I trust myself. I trust Celine. I trust this bond." The illusions became more intense. A mirror reflected him as weak and helpless. Shadows of danger approached, but Alex kept moving forward, focusing on the connection he felt with Celine. With each step, the illusions faded, as if his courage and trust were stronger than fear itself. Finally, he reached a glowing doorway. Celine stood beyond it, waiting. Her dark eyes softened as she approached him. "You have passed the trial," she said quietly. "You did not falter. You trusted yourself, and in doing so you honored the bond." Alex exhaled, relief and pride mixing in his chest. I did it." "I didn't know if I could." Celine placed a hand on his shoulder. "You can do more than you think, human. And that is why the bond between us is special. Most humans would have failed. Most would have run. You endure. You rise." Days passed and the bond continued to grow. Alex noticed small changes in himself. He could sense Celine's presence even from a distance. His reflexes were sharper, his instincts quicker. It was subtle but unmistakable. One evening, Celine invited him to her mansion. Unlike the urban rooftops and hidden streets, her home was a mix of history and technology. Ancient books lined the walls alongside advanced devices that pulsed softly with light. Candles flickered in harmony with holographic projections, creating a surreal but beautiful atmosphere. "This is where I study and live," Celine said, guiding him through the mansion. "It is where I have existed for centuries, learning, observing, and surviving. Few humans are allowed here." Alex's eyes widened. "It's incredible. It feels alive." Celine smiled faintly. and you are part of it now, whether you realize it or not. The bond means you share not only my present but my past and future. In some ways, our destinies are entwined. Alex swallowed. Entwined? That sounds serious. It is, Celine said. But it is also powerful. A human and vampire bonded. Together we can face anything, but only if we continue to prove ourselves. Alex nodded. Then I'll do it. I'll face anything. Celine's eyes softened. Very well. There is one more matter you must understand about the bond. Eternal mates. Share life. Not just feelings, but energy, thoughts, and sometimes abilities. You may not notice it yet, but in time you will feel my strength and I will feel yours. This is not a gift to be taken lightly. I understand, Alex said, and I accept it. I want this bond fully. Celine studied him for a long moment. Few humans would say that. Most fear the unknown, but you embrace it. That is why you are extraordinary. The next trial was physical. Celine led Alex to a large arena hidden deep underground, a place where vampires trained and tested strength. You must endure, Celine said, without relying on your human limits alone. Your courage, your mind, and your resolve will be your greatest tools. You cannot fail, for failure weakens the bond. Alex stepped forward, feeling a surge of excitement. I'm ready, Celine smiled faintly. Good. Begin. The arena was filled with obstacles, moving platforms, shifting walls, and creatures that mimicked the movements of hunters. Alex had to think quickly, move quickly, and trust his instincts. Each challenge tested him physically and mentally, but he persevered. Even when the obstacles seemed impossible, he found clever solutions, proving that human ingenuity was as powerful as any supernatural strength. By the end of the trial, he was exhausted but triumphant. Celine approached him, her eyes gleaming. You have done well, Alex. You have shown bravery, cleverness, and endurance. These are qualities few humans possess in the face of the supernatural. Alex smiled, breathless but proud. Thanks, I couldn't have done it without believing in this bond, believing in us. Celine's expression softened. Indeed, and now the bond strengthens further. The trials are not over, but you are proving that humans can rise to challenges that even centuries of experience cannot anticipate. As Alex left the arena, he felt different. The bond was no longer subtle. He felt it in every heartbeat, every breath. He could sense Celine's presence as if she were beside him, even when she wasn't. It was a connection that went beyond understanding, yet it made him feel alive and capable in ways he never imagined. He realized that this bond was more than just a supernatural link. It was a recognition of human potential, a testament to courage, intelligence, and determination. He was not merely surviving this world. He was thriving, showing that even humans, seemingly fragile and limited, could inspire awe in beings far older and stronger. And somewhere deep inside, Alex knew that this was only the beginning. The bond with Celine was growing, and with it, the promise of something eternal, a connection that could withstand any challenge, any danger, and any trial the universe might throw at them. For the first time in his life, Alex truly understood what it meant to be extraordinary, not because of strength or skill alone, but because of heart, courage, and unwavering determination. The city was quiet that night, but the stillness carried a tension Alex could feel. Since the bond had grown stronger, he noticed subtle changes, not just in himself, but in how Celine moved and observed the world around them. She was always alert, scanning for dangers he could barely see, and the connection between them made him aware of threats long before they became visible. Something is off, Celine said quietly, her voice cutting through the hum of the city. Her dark eyes, sharper than ever, scanned the rooftops and alleys around them. There are those who do not approve of our bond, Alex frowned. Who, humans? Celine shook her head. Note, vampires. Elders who see a human bonded to one of us as dangerous, disruptive. They may act if provoked. Alex clenched his fists. Then we deal with them, together. Celine studied him for a moment, then nodded. Yes, together, but we must be careful. Humans and vampires rarely act in the same world. We must use both our strengths, your ingenuity, my abilities. The first sign of trouble appeared in the form of shadows moving along the walls of the old district, where buildings were crumbling yet still alive with history. Alex and Celine had been walking along a narrow street, testing their bond and enjoying a rare quiet moment, when movement flickered at the edges of his vision. Someone's following us, he whispered. Celine's hand brushed his arm, a subtle warning. Not just following. They are observing. Elders. They will challenge you, human. Are you ready? Alex nodded. I'm ready. I can handle it. The shadows shifted, coalescing into figures, tall, imposing vampires whose eyes glowed faintly red in the darkness. They moved silently like predators, but there was something about their posture that suggested authority, not malice. One stepped forward, speaking in a voice that was both calm and commanding. "Celine, you know the rules. A human cannot bond with a vampire without permission. You have broken tradition." Celine's expression remained composed, but Alex could feel the tension in her body. "The bond is not broken. It is earned. Alex has proven himself worthy. His courage, intelligence, and loyalty are exceptional." The elder's gaze shifted to Alex. "And you, human, do you understand what you are risking? Do you know that failure could mean death?" Alex met the elder's eyes without hesitation. "I understand, and I am not afraid. I am bonded with Celine, and that is enough for me." The elder studied him for a long moment, then spoke to Celine. "You are reckless, but perhaps the human spirit has value beyond what we imagined." Celine's eyes softened, but the tension did not ease. "We will not bow to fear. The bond is real, and I will not let anyone destroy it." The elders vanished into the shadows, leaving Alex and Celine alone, but the encounter had stirred something inside both of them. Alex's senses were heightened. He could feel the city differently, every sound sharper, every movement more significant. He realized that even though he was human, he could be a match for centuries-old vampires, not through strength alone, but through cleverness, adaptability, and fearlessness. "This is serious," Alex said quietly. "They'll come back, and next time they won't just observe. They might try to test me." "Or you," Celine nodded. "Yes, and we must be prepared. That is why our bond is important. Together we are stronger than any of them could imagine." Alex felt a surge of pride. "Then we'll show them. Humans aren't weak. We're clever, adaptable, and capable. You'll see." Celine smiled faintly, a rare softness in her expression. "I already see it, Alex, and that is why I trust you." The next challenge came sooner than expected. A rival faction of vampires, angry at Celine for bonding with a human, ambushed them near an abandoned plaza. Their movements were swift, precise, and coordinated. Alex barely had time to react, relying on his instincts and quick thinking to dodge their attacks. Celine fought alongside him, her speed and strength unmatched, but even she appreciated his cleverness. Alex used the environment to their advantage, leading the attackers into traps, using shadows and obstacles to slow them down. "Over there," he shouted, pointing to a narrow alley. "We can trap them." Celine nodded, and together they executed the plan. The rival vampires hesitated, caught off guard by the human strategy. In moments, the ambush was neutralized, not through brute force alone, but through the combination of human ingenuity and vampire skill. As the last attacker retreated, Celine looked at Alex with a mixture of admiration and surprise. "You are remarkable. Few humans could do what you just did. You are clever, fearless, and adaptable. You make a strong partner." Alex laughed, a little breathless. "I told you, humans aren't weak. We rise to challenges." Celine's eyes sparkled faintly in the dim light. "Indeed, and together, we are stronger than any obstacle." In the days that followed, Alex and Celine trained together, preparing for the next potential threat. Alex learned to anticipate danger, to read subtle movements, and to combine his human skills with Celine's supernatural abilities. "You think too small sometimes," Celine said one night, as they practiced combat in a hidden arena. "You rely on instinct. But humans have imagination, creativity. That is your true strength. You must use it always." Alex nodded. "I'll remember. I've learned that humans can outsmart strength if we think differently." "Exactly," Celine said, her eyes gleaming. "And that is why the bond is powerful. You bring qualities to it that vampires alone could never provide." Alex felt pride swelling inside him. He realized that the bond was not just about being connected to Celine. It was about proving that humans could stand shoulder to shoulder with beings far stronger and older. He wasn't just surviving. He was excelling. One night, as they patrolled the city together, a new threat appeared. A group of rogue vampires who had no loyalty to the elders, but who sought to exploit humans and break the bonds between species. They cornered Alex and Celine in a narrow street. "You're meddling in things you don't understand," the leader hissed. "A human does not belong with a vampire like her." Alex stepped forward, his heart steady. "I belong wherever I choose. And right now, that's beside Celine." The leader lunged and chaos erupted. Alex ducked, dodged, and improvised, using every bit of knowledge, reflex, and quick thinking he had. Celine moved like a shadow beside him, striking with precision, But it was Alex's clever tactics that turned the tide. He led the attackers into an abandoned building filled with old machinery and debris. As the rogue vampires pursued, Alex triggered levers and obstacles, creating barriers that slowed them down. Celine moved through the chaos effortlessly, her trust in him evident in her calm precision. By the end, the rogues were trapped or had fled. Alex stood panting, exhilarated. Celine approached him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You see," she said softly, "humans are remarkable, not because of raw strength, but because of courage, intelligence, and the ability to adapt." "You have proven it again," Alex smiled. "And you've proven that even vampires can trust humans to be equals. That's what our bond is. Two different worlds stronger together." Celine nodded, her expression unreadable but approving. "Indeed, the bond grows stronger with each challenge. You are becoming more than I expected, Alex. You are proving that humans are capable of extraordinary things." That night, as they watched the city from a rooftop, Alex felt the full weight of their connection. He could sense Celine's thoughts, her focus, and her protective instincts. He understood more than ever that this bond was about partnership, mutual respect, and trust. "I never thought a human could do all this," Celine said quietly. "But you surprise me at every turn. I see now that the bond is not just a curiosity. It is a strength that can change everything." Alex smiled, his hand brushing hers. "Then we face everything together. Humans, vampires. Whatever comes next. We're stronger because we trust each other." Celine's eyes softened. "Yes, together we are stronger. And the world will learn that humans too are extraordinary." Alex looked out over the city lights, feeling more alive than ever. The bond was no longer a secret, no longer a challenge. It was a promise. A promise that together they could face anything, overcome any obstacle, and prove that courage, intelligence, and heart could shape destiny itself. The sun was just beginning to rise over the city, casting a soft golden glow across the streets and rooftops. Alex and Celine stood on the edge of a high cliff outside the city, the wind tugging at their clothes and hair. The quiet morning contrasted sharply with the chaos of the previous days, but Alex could feel that this moment was just as important. "We've faced a lot together," Alex said quietly, looking at Celine. "Challenges, threats, tests. But I feel like this is the beginning of something real." Celine nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the early light. "Yes, you have proven yourself worthy, Alex. Not just through courage or cleverness, but through your heart. The bond we share is strong because you are human, and yet, you are extraordinary." Alex swallowed, feeling a warmth in his chest. "Extraordinary? I just wanted to prove that humans can stand up to challenges, that we can be brave, clever, and reliable." Celine smiled softly. "And you have. That is why I trust you. That is why I chose to bond with you. Few humans are worthy of eternal connection, but you are." Alex felt a thrill of pride and joy. The trials, the danger, the tests, they had all led to this moment. He had faced creatures far stronger than himself, challenges that would have broken most people, and he had endured. He had proven not only to Celine but to himself what it meant to rise above limits. The final trial was not physical or mental. It was emotional. Celine turned to Alex, her expression serious. "To solidify the bond, we must face a choice. The bond of eternal mates is not just a connection of energy or strength. It is a commitment, a merging of paths, of lives. You must choose to accept this fully, knowing what it means." Alex took a deep breath. "I've never been more certain of anything. I accept it fully. I want this bond, Celine, no matter what comes." Celine's eyes softened and she reached out, her fingers brushing his hand. "Then we are eternal mates, Alex. Our lives, our destinies, and our strengths are now intertwined. Whatever challenges the future holds, we will face them together." The bond deepened in that moment. Alex felt an incredible surge of energy and connection. He could sense Celine's thoughts, her emotions, and her protective instincts more clearly than ever. The link was not just between them. It was a recognition of trust, courage, and mutual respect. Soon, word of their bond spread among both humans and vampires. Some were curious, some were wary, but most were impressed by Alex's courage and ingenuity. Vampire elders who had once doubted him now observed him with respect. Humans whispered about him, seeing proof that bravery and cleverness could stand alongside supernatural strength. Celine and Alex moved carefully through the city, knowing that not all would accept the bond immediately, but they also knew that together, they were stronger than any opposition. Alex had learned to anticipate threats, use his surroundings cleverly, and trust his instincts. Celine had learned to rely on his quick thinking and human ingenuity, and together they were unstoppable. One evening, as they watched the city from a quiet rooftop, Celine spoke softly. The bond is not just about protection or strength. It is about understanding and balance. You have brought qualities to it that no vampire alone could provide. Courage, adaptability, and human spirit, Alex smiled. And you've brought guidance, strength, and wisdom. Together, we're more than either of us alone. Celine nodded. Indeed. And that is why the bond is eternal. Not because of magic alone, but because it is earned, nurtured, and respected. The city below them was waking up, unaware of the extraordinary events that had unfolded. Alex felt a deep sense of pride, not in himself alone, but in humanity. Humans had limits, yes, but they also had imagination, courage, and resilience. Traits that, when combined with the wisdom and strength of beings like Celine, could overcome any obstacle. Do you think we'll ever face more challenges? Alex asked, his voice calm but curious. Celine's lips curved into a small smile. Of course. Life always brings challenges. But now we face them together. And together we are capable of more than most can imagine. Alex felt a thrill. Then let's face them. No matter what comes, we'll do it side by side. Celine reached out, gently taking his hand. Yes, side by side. Eternal mates, days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Alex and Celine learned more about each other, their bond deepening with every shared experience. They discovered hidden parts of the city, secrets of vampire society, and even aspects of human potential that had long been overlooked. One day, they stood on the balcony of Celine's mansion, overlooking the river that reflected the morning light. Do you ever think about what life was like before we bonded? Alex asked. Celine nodded. I do. Life was long, predictable, and lonely. I never imagined that a human could change that. Alex smiled. And you've changed mine too. I've learned that humans aren't just limited by biology or strength. We're limited only by courage, ingenuity, and heart. And if we push those limits, we can do extraordinary things. Celine's eyes softened. And that is why our bond is eternal. Not because it is inevitable, but because it is chosen, nurtured, and strengthened by both of us. Evenings were filled with quiet moments, training sessions, and walks through the city. They faced occasional threats, rogue vampires, curious humans, or natural dangers, but together, they overcame each one. Alex's human cleverness often outwitted even the most experienced vampires, while Celine's strength and agility protected them when needed. One night, as they returned from a patrol, Alex looked at Celine. You know, I never imagined I'd be bonded to a vampire facing challenges like this. But I also never imagined I'd feel so alive, so capable. Celine smiled. That is the gift of the bond, Alex. Not just the power or connection, but the ability to rise beyond fear, doubt, and limitation. You have become extraordinary, not because of me, but because of yourself. Alex felt a rush of gratitude and pride. Then let's continue. Together, nothing can stop us. Celine's dark eyes glimmered. Yes, together. The bond between them became known as a symbol, not only to vampires, but to humans as well. It was proof that courage, intelligence, and resilience could achieve what many thought impossible. The world had changed, not because of magic alone, but because humans like Alex could rise to challenges, adapt, and stand as equals even among the supernatural. Alex realized that being bonded to Celine had not just given him an extraordinary partner, it had shown him the potential of humanity itself. Humans, he understood, were capable of courage and ingenuity that could rival even immortal strength. And when a human and vampire worked together, the possibilities were endless. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Alex and Celine stood on a cliff overlooking the city once more. The wind was cool, the sky painted with golds and purples, and the world seemed still. This is it, Alex said quietly. Our life together eternal, Celine nodded. Yes, eternal mates. Stronger together, facing whatever comes side by side. Alex took her hand, feeling the bond pulse with warmth and strength. Then let's face it all. Whatever the future holds, we'll do it together. Celine's eyes glimmered, a rare softness in her ancient gaze. Yes, Alex, together, forever. The city below continued its busy life, unaware that two extraordinary beings stood above it, bonded by trust, courage, and heart. Their bond was proof that humans, through determination, ingenuity, and spirit, could rise above limits and inspire even the immortal. And in that moment, Alex knew one thing for certain. This was only the beginning. He and Celine, bonded for eternity, were ready to face anything the universe could throw at them. Together they were unstoppable. Together they were eternal.